Hello, hello. And good evening, welcome, blah, 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 blah. Hello, how are you? You hear me? Is that good? All right, cool. No worries.
Welcome to the Toxteth Stadium, the home of the Melbourne Knights. The round 3 match between your Melbourne Knights and Avondale FC. We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for the 2025 season. They are IMG Group,
That's supposed to be better than VO's absolute garbage.
Croatian House, Financial, Insurance Homes, AHP, and Black Driving Investments.
It's just rubbish. We got shafted. We bought something that was older than these days. What shit.
starting lineup for Avondale FC. They constitute of Harold Mogweb, Aidan Grimes, Daniel Edwards, Kilo Kamara, Kur, Thomas Manos, Luca Tevir, Ital Towns, Christian Trajewski, Stefan Valentini, Emily Bosmore.
It was a tough start to the week for Melbourne Knights, losing the OG Melbourne derby to South Melbourne 3-1 on Monday, and now just 4 days later they have to back up at home against the hottest team in the comp, the later leaders, and even at this very early stage, the title favourites, Avondale. The Avengers swept aside Port Melbourne last week to go with their round one win against Oakley, and they'll be looking to make it a hat-trick of wins from as many starts against even Frangich's men and ensure they finish the week as they started with a loss. Hello, I'm Kate Lucas. Welcome to Tonset Stadium for this Friday night clash to begin round 3 of the NPL season. It's Melbourne Knights hosting Avondale, 8th versus 1st, a team looking to get back to winning ways against another who seemingly know nothing else. Ed Gooden was to be joining me tonight, but he's got an emergency he has to tend to. He's got other commitments that have come up, so we wish him well. And I'll be flying solo this evening with you on YouTube. Hope you can stay with us on what's a beautiful night here in Melbourne. Stark contrast to last Friday night, which was torrential rain across the city. It is warm and balmy, and it should be some pretty warm and tempestuous football out there tonight between two old rivals, the blue and the red. Quite the contrast in colours and also in form. Melbourne Knights currently in mid-table and having a pretty disappointing start to the week, as I mentioned, at Lakeside Stadium. And now on a very short week, they have to back up against no tougher team in the competition than the Avengers. Let's go through the starting lineups very quickly. Firstly, for Avondale, and it's more about who isn't starting than who is. It's Edwards, Bryce, Agawek, Kerr, Yiche Towns, Thomas Manos in goal, Stefan Valentini, Christian Trajteski back in the starting lineup after on the bench last week, Emlyn Wellsmore, Luca Tavir and Kamara Kalilu, whilst the starters for Knights, Ben Carrigan at the back, Stefan Brezovic, Alexander Hurd, Anthony Giselle and Steve White in midfield, Kieran Bramwell up top, Stephen Lawless, Chris Oldfield in goal, Kane Shepherd up top, Chiba Masatau and Miguel Cunha. And here come Avondale quickly. They're going towards the northern end or the right of your screen in this first half. And here is Kerr taking it to the byline and wrapping it off the shins of Alexander Hurd and out for an early corner. Just over 30 seconds in. And they don't waste any time here. They go short. It's Tavir. Knights do manage to clear up towards halfway. I mentioned the Avondale starting lineup. You look at some of the guys on their subs bench and you have to think they would be nailed on starters for just about every team in the comp. Jackson Courtney Perkins, Joey Katabian, George Ott, Stefan Zinni among the guys sitting on the pine for the start of this one. So if things are not quite going to plan, Zoran Markovski is not exactly short of options to turn to. Whilst things not quite as rosy on the subs bench for even Frangic, though he does have Dion Nicolaides, Mark Petheriotis, who scored last week, Jack Morton, Thomas Woundle, and also his brother Joseph Frangic to call on. So, and there's a few others there too. So that's how things stand here for both teams. Gone through about 90 seconds and not much to report here. Is Alexander Hurd right below us with the socks down, son of James, of course, as I'm sure you've heard. And here go Knights right through the middle. And it could be an early opportunity here. Oh, was it off the line? Did that cross? It was Stephen Lawless, the Irishman. It was like the Red Sea parting for Moses there. He went right through the middle and it came off the underside of the crossbar, and it looks like it hasn't crossed. No Knights players are contesting that, and play goes on, but boy oh boy, that would have been a turn up for the books. Just over 2 minutes in. Stephen Lawless, one of the new arrivals this season for Melbourne Knights. His Irish eyes really would have been smiling there had he put that one away. But an early shot across the bows for Avondale, who they thought this was going to be an easy night at the office, may have to quickly reassess things. Here's Aidan Bryce, the captain for Avondale. He knows these parts very well, formerly of Melbourne Knights. Left for Avenger Park 2 seasons ago. Here's Kamara. Kerr in midfield. Knights put it back though. And it's Steve White trying to play it forward up towards Lawless, but can't get a handle on it. Now pressing up pretty high though here on Melbourne Knights, trying to make a fast start. He's Hurd with the throw. It's a bit of a risky one. It put his defender there, Cunha, the Portuguese, under pressure, but he got his head to it. Here is Cunha, the aforementioned Portuguese. It's Carrigan, his partner in crime at the back. They're going to have their hands full this evening, those two. Carrigan again. Avondale happy just to sit off at the moment, not really pressing too high, but they've got defending to do at the back here. Ball over the top, Daniel Edwards rather, was up to it. Now they look to make a quick transition. Luca Tavir's ball didn't quite reach his teammate though. And it's out of play on the grandstand side, where people have slowly migrated over from the club rooms to the Mark Viduka lounge. Decent crowd here. There's certainly a very good crowd in the car park. It was difficult to find a place to park, I've got to say. Club rooms are heaving though, but after that early shot on goal for Knights, they might decide it's time to come over and watch the football, because the home team might be up to something here. Here's Towns. The Wellsmore below us. Over towards Kamara, now Bryce. Very comfortable in possession, Avondale. Don't look rushed. Almost lackadaisical in their approach on the ball. Here's Trycheski. Looking to nail down a spot in the starting lineup. He wouldn't have sat on the bench too often, but he has at the start of this season. That's a lovely crossfield ball to set away Avondale, who win a throw high up. Edwards to take it. Tavia. Cycled all the way out to Kerr on the near side, trying to take on Hurd. Comes towards Tavir. He thought about hitting that first time. Now it's back to Edwards. He might hit it from wrong range. He was never getting there. Knights win it back. Hurd again. He's seen a lot of the ball already. We've only gone 6 minutes. One of two games this evening. The other is between Green Gully and Hume City at Green Gully. I'll try and give you updates on the score there. That game kicking off the same time as this one. Here come Knights. Only momentarily though. Kamara sees it out of play, but they have got a throw level with the point of the penalty area here, Melbourne Knights. Let's see what they can do. It's Chiba, the Japanese import, who will take the throw. Grandstand behind him. Sun slowly setting behind that. He's pretty warm out there. Well over 30 degrees today in Melbourne after a bit of a cold patch. Chiba will do it all again with another throw. White. Loses out to Trycheski. Bryce. Wellsmore, formerly of Oakley. Both he and Stefan Valentini came across from Oakley Cannons to Avondale, from one title contender to another, or title winner last year in Oakley, and the team that won the title the season before, Avondale. They're going forward here, but nothing happening. Chris Oldfield quick to come out and mop up. Wearing the captain's armband tonight, the veteran keeper. His third season now here at Melbourne Knights after a long spell down the road at Altona Magic. Here's Dazelle, another long-time campaigner here at Tomset Stadium. And towards White in midfield. Toe poked it out wide. Can they knit something together here, the home side? White went over the top, but the intended target, Bramwell, was flat-footed. He was never getting that. To the quick turn in the middle of the park. Towns. Now Bryce. They're on the move here, and he goes right through the middle. The big central defender down the flank where Valentini will just overhaul it. Now here's Edwards to the byline. And that's some good last-ditch defending there, I think, by Brezovic. In fact, it was Lawless. He couldn't prevent a corner. The first of the evening. It's going the way of the visitors. Luca Tavir to take it. It's a deep cross. Bryce heads it right to the line, but Oldfield has got plenty of experience, and he clasps his hands around that. Just real effort on target for Avondale. Of course, Knights had that one seemingly out of nowhere from Stephen Lawless in the opening minutes. Lovely touch there by Wellsmore. Just caressed that onto his boot. Looks like he's switched sides. Ethan Wellsmore, he was on the near side to start with, but he's now out on the grandstand side. Now he's back below us. Bryce. On towards Kerr. Nice movement here. In fact, that is Kerr. It was Agawek who gave it to him. The move comes apart, though. It's Knights who have it through Chiba. Misplaced pass, and it's Towns coming forward now for Avondale. Danger here for Knights. Into play on the edge of the box. Towns with the shot. Oldfield saw it coming, got down. Best move of the 11.5 minutes of the game so far from Avondale. They're a bit slow to get out of the blocks this evening. You just sense they're slowly finding their stride. Melbourne Knights have just got to try and hang tough and stay in the contest, stay in the fight. So they're doing okay at the moment. Early doors, 12 minutes played. Cave Lucas with you on YouTube. It's Melbourne Knights 0, Avondale 0. Start of round 3 of the season. Here's Hurd, former Western United player. Stolen though by Kerr for Avondale, who's now on the grandstand side. Carrigan cuts it out. Cunha with a long ball forward down the flank. Lawless was the target, but the flag was in the air almost as soon as the ball reached him. Puyo Gadirian is the referee tonight. Hasn't had a whole lot to do so far. Barely even a free kick. Here's Edwards. Nifty footwork in front of the benches. Now it comes to Trycheski in the centre circle. Trycheski comes through. The referee might have some work to do here as the former Brisbane Raw man is hauled down. And referee Gadirian calls over Kieran Bramwell, who caught him. And says no more of that or you'll go in the book. Can't do much with that free kick though. Instead it's Knights who come away. It's Chiba down the grandstand flank. Blue back in numbers though. Both teams in their traditional home strips tonight. There's no missing either of them. Avondale resplendent in Azuri blue, and Melbourne Knights of course in their famous red, white and blue. Here they come creeping forward down the far side. Chiba coming inside. Oh, and a flick there from Shepherd. There was nobody home. Kane Shepherd, one of their big off-season signings from Heidelberg, where he played with both Ivan and Joseph Franjic a few seasons ago. He's yet to find the back of the net for his new club. To be fair, he's only played 2 games. They'll be hoping that he can start to get on the score sheet soon. That's what he's been brought over here for. No time like tonight against the league leaders to open his account for his new club. It's Avondale doing the attacking here though. And doing a belly flop there was Valentini, who then can't believe that the referee hasn't given him a free kick. Goal kick for Oldfield. Beautiful still night, not a breath of wind at all. Oldfield goes straight down the middle. Looking for Shepherd. Shorter, Edwards beat him to it though, but straight to the feet of Chiba. And they might be able to make something of this Knights. It's Shepherd again. Didn't quite connect with that attempted pass out to Bramwell. That's Wellsmore who's got it for the Avengers. Wellsmore again, back to Bryce. Edwards, who's a busy fullback New Zealander. And now it's Agawek, who hasn't seen much of the ball and he's dragged off it here, but he wins a free kick for his team. Probably right on the outer edge of goal scoring range, but it's in a good spot for Luca Tavia to try and manufacture something. Bryce and Kamara getting up there inside the penalty area, and they'll try and get on the end of this. Gone 18 minutes, still goalless between Melbourne Knights and Avondale, but for how much longer? Tavia and Kerr. Kerr takes it. Thumping header away though by Cunha. And it'll be a throw. Edwards goes short. Valentini against his fellow number 22, Chiba. And they both cancel each other out, and it ricochets out for a corner, in fact. So they've had the trifecta here. Avondale started with a free kick, then a throw, and now a cross coming in from a corner. Second one of the evening for Luca Tavia. Slowly upping the pressure here, the league leaders. It's another deep cross, and the header is missed, and Oldfield does the saving, and then on the follow-up, it was Agawek who got his foot to it. Oldfield used all his experience. He was down in time. I think it was Cunha, the defender, who didn't reach the ball with his head, though, when he probably should have done. That opened the door for Agawek. Knights happy to escape, but they're coming under increasing fire here. Tomset Stadium, approaching 20 minutes. White, Chiba back to White. It's only blue shirts ahead of him though. And they're on the move again. Here's Tavia. He's at the heart of just about everything. Now Kerr off to Trycheski. And that's the first real full-blooded shot from either side. And Christian Trycheski put it over the bar, not by a lot, but by enough. Those knocks on the door are getting ever louder. Zoran Markovski's team. Here's Manos. Apart from early scare, he hasn't had a whole lot to do. Tavia, he's had plenty to do. He's been everywhere in midfield. And the Port Melbourne midfielder. Scored in their opening round win over Oakley. 6 goals they've scored so far this season, Avondale. Conceded 2. And Kerr won't be able to help them improve on that record there. The ball was just over his head. That's a throw for Knights for Alexander Hurd. Bramwell, top scorer in the competition. Scored both his goals last time Melbourne Knights played here, which was on the opening night against Heidelberg. They won that game, their only win. Bramwell scored 2 of their 3 goals, and he's currently equal top of the NPL scoring charts. And here he is. There's plenty of Avondale players around him. Cunha has to go all the way back to Oldfield, and he's hurt himself in the process, the Portuguese defender. I think that's either a calf or maybe even an Achilles. He is in pain. As soon as he played that pass, he dropped straight down and clutched his lower leg. That's never a good sign, though. If it was an Achilles, he wouldn't be getting up and trying to walk it off. He wouldn't be walking at all. So maybe it's just a knock to the ankle. And he's going to try and soldier on, but I've got to say, at first, that did not look good at all. It's looking a bit better on the attacking side of things for Knights as Chiba sends a ball forward, and that's ricocheted way over the top by Kamara out into the car park for a corner for Melbourne Knights, their first of the evening. doing a lot of defending at the other end. But now they get the chance to go on the attack themselves. After that early shot from Stephen Lawless, they have not threatened too much, Knights. But they've got an opportunity here. Plenty of red shirts in around the 6-yard box. In comes the corner. It's right on the hot spot. Manos poured at it. And now on the follow-up, it's over the top from Carrigan. But that was a good delivery in, and Thomas Manos is not the biggest keeper. Had to flap his hands at it just to smack it out of the area. Not the most convincing of saves, but he did enough. Wellsmore spent that before he had it. And it roll under his feet and out of play. Third doesn't have a whole lot of options here. He has to go short to White. A long ball to no one in particular. And now it's Towns in midfield. The Ethiopian has got some room to move. And he finds Tavir. Danger here for Knights as Tavir races through the middle. Up to the area. Out wide to Valentini. This is promising. Valentini this way, that away. To the byline. Across and in for an opening goal. It's Agawek who scored. And that deserved a goal. An excellent move there from Avondale. Their best of the evening. And it brings rewards. Manny Agawek with a simple finish from a ball across from Stefan Valentini. It's Agawek's second goal in as many weeks. He scored last week against Port Melbourne, and he's added another tonight against Melbourne Knights to open the scoring after 25 minutes. It's Knights 0, Avondale 1. You have to say they deserve it after a sluggish start where they were nearly caught out on the break. They have slowly taken the ascendancy in general play and now deservedly have the lead, and they're not content with that. They're right on the front foot here again from the kickoff. Up goes Towns, almost ends up on his head there. Now it's Hurd. How will this change things for Melbourne Knights? How do they respond here? With about 20 minutes to go before half time. Don't want to concede another one quickly here. Otherwise it could be a very long night at the office. As I mentioned in the intro, they've had a very short turnaround. Playing on Monday night away at South Melbourne and now Friday night at home to Avondale. I doubt the Knights officials were too pleased when they saw that on the schedule, as Avondale almost were in there again, but the whistle is blown. And now it's a yellow card for Valentini, first of the evening. Oldfield comes over to take the goal kick. It's not only is it 2 games in a week and against probably the top 2 teams in the division, but this second game is in pretty hot and sticky conditions. Are we feeling it? Players from both teams, but probably the Knights more so, and especially now they're a goal down and having to chase the game. Long kick by Oldfield to get us back underway as the sun slowly sets behind the Mark Viduka stand. Might impede my vision here in a moment. It's a pretty bright sunset. Great for photographers, not so great for football commentators. Here come the Avengers through Wellsmore. Plenty of red shirts back. Kamara deep inside the Knights half now. They're really going on the front foot here, Avondale. Valentini goes to ground. Edwards was there but couldn't keep it in play. Shepherd, long way up the field to try and get on the ball. Take the free kick after an accidental handball there against the Avengers. Kamara scored in the opening round against Oakley. For the defender, he does get on the score sheet pretty regularly, which is always a great thing to have. Trycheski. Towards Edwards, to Towns. Back towards Trycheski through the middle. They're building again here, the Avengers. Kerr on the near side. It's Kerr, he has a shot. It was bending, but not enough. But again, they waltzed into the penalty area there, Avondale. And we might be still short of half an hour played, but there's a sense here that the Avengers are already going in for the kill. Another goal here. It's a very long way back for the Knights. Tavir with the corner, out towards Kamara. Back further still to Trycheski. They go backwards to go forwards once again, Avondale. Bryce. Now Kerr. Back towards Bryce. The defender is almost on the edge of the opponent's penalty area. Knights have it. Giselle back to Cunha, who looks as though he's recovered from that knock earlier. Oh, that's a risky back pass. Oldfield fortunately was onto it. But they're struggling to get out here at the moment, Knights. And it's Trycheski who's got it again. To Tavir on the turn. To Wellsmore. They're laying siege to the Knights penalty area at the moment. Here's Agawek, the goal scorer. Back towards Tavir. Pretty much everyone except for Kane Shepherd's behind the ball here for Melbourne Knights. And still Avondale might get through. It's Edwards down the flank. That's a dangerous ball across. Agawek was there. It's deflected away though. So they're just hanging on at the minute here, Melbourne Knights. Avondale going for the jugular. Bryce. Towns. Tavir on the turn. He might have a shot here. Luca Tavir in the area. Oh, he hit the backside of his teammate. That might have been a second goal, but for the buttocks of Manny Agawek, the goal scorer of the first goal. And now Knights come away in a rare foray into the Avondale half. Now finding the going tougher and tougher as the half goes on here. They've just got to try and get to half time with the scoreline as it is. Avondale only a goal ahead. Here's Brezovic. Shepherd. Try to keep hold of the ball there. Tavir again. Towards Edwards. Kerr. To be a bit of a tug on his shirt. He certainly said so to the referee, who says play on. White. Over towards Lawless. Stripped of the ball though by Trycheski, who plays it over the top. Agawek is there, and the flag's down, and Agawek is in the area. Who's in the middle? He might go himself. Manny Agawek. There's nobody home. Had someone followed him up, that would have been 2-0. He just rolled that across the penalty box. And there's only Knights defenders there. Trycheski. Plenty of time. He could have stopped and had a cup of tea almost. Eventually sent it out to Wellsmore. And it's out for a throw to Avondale. Towns. Risky pass, but Kamara got there in time. Agawek can keep his feet. The Knights will try and come away, but they don't. Avondale win it back. And the pressure is reapplied. Trycheski. Again, they're sitting off him. Edwards. Cross in by Valentini. Cunha. Only as far as Towns. And they reload again here, Avondale. It's one-way traffic. Now Trycheski on the turn. Just got caught underneath him. Towns arrives. Last-ditch defending by Knights. And they send it out for another corner. It's their third from the far side for Avondale. Just over 10 minutes to half-time. Tavir with the corner. He floats it into the edge of the 6-yard box. Oh, it bounced onto the chest of Agawak. He had far too much time. Didn't know what to do with it. Now Kerr fires a shot in. I think he might have hit a Melbourne Knights player in the solar plexus, or maybe a bit lower than that. And the ball's out for another corner. Dazelle is slowly getting up. He is bent over. And now he's got some defending to do. It's another corner here for the visitors. It's Kerr to take it. It's a dangerous one. Oldfield lost it. And it's helped away over the byline and out for another corner, this time from the near side. Kerr. Long to the back post. Kamara's there. Well, that was always going over the top. And Knights hang on. I think if they can keep the scoreline to just one goal at half time, that'll be something of a morale boost for them. That's how one-sided the latter part of this first half has been, really, since the 10-15 minute mark. It has just been all Avondale. And that misplaced pass, it looks like it will be again. Wellsmore. Kamara. Floodlights really taking effect now as the sun has gone behind the grandstand. Still very warm here though. And it's clearly taking a toll on the Melbourne Knights players too. They're having to do a lot of chasing. As we've mentioned, they've had a much shorter lead-up time as the ball comes in from Avondale. Header away there by Brezovic. Over towards Bryce. The two centre-backs are inside the Knights' half. They've lost the ball though, and maybe Knights could hurt them on the break here. They have to scramble back, Avondale. It's Shepherd who's got it. Now Lawless, hard up against the touch line. He's got Edwards all over him like a cheap suit. And the New Zealanders given away a free kick. In pretty handy territory too for Melbourne Knights. Approaching the 40-minute mark. How they'd love a goal against the run of play here. It's been a goal at Green Gully. Hume City have the lead there. Can Melbourne Knights equalise here? Not with that free kick. It's headed away by Edwards. And now Tavir will try and catch Knights on the break. And he's skipped away. Danger here, but Chiba does very well. That's a well-timed challenge by the Japanese. Tavir was off to the races. But Chiba picked his pocket. Here's Bramwell, who's been a bit of a spectator so far this evening. Carrigan. Lawless on the turn. Now towards Shepherd. This is a bit better. Brambles through the middle. Bramwell. He can only put it straight at Manos. That's as close as they've come since that Lawless opportunity in the opening minutes. Kieran Bramwell, you would have hoped he'd have done a bit better there. He was through the middle. He only had the keeper to beat. But he didn't really work Thomas Manos to either side, and it didn't seem like he made great contact with the ball either. That will give them a bit of hope, though. Just over 5 minutes to go towards the break. Mentioned before how they'd love to keep the scoreline the same going into the break. Melbourne Knights will. How about if they actually jag a goal like they nearly did there? Whilst it remains only a goal the difference, they're still very much in this. Here's Tavir over towards Edwards. They're trying to do something about that scoreline here, Avondale. It's Kerr, who's been very busy as well, but he's won a corner for his team this time. The Knights players thought it was a goal kick. The referee disagrees. And we'll have another corner from the far side, where most of them for Avondale have come in this first half, which is now over 40 minutes old. Kerr drifts the cross in, headed by Valentini, headed away. Now Bryce sends it back in. Bit of aerial ping pong. Tavir. Hurd got his foot in there to knock the ball away for a throw. Wellsmore sends in the cross. Oh, it was over the head of Cunha. Luckily for him, he's able to turn around and reach the ball. He's got Agawek right with him. Agawek shoves him over the touchline. Lucky to get away with that, Agawek. We were a fair way away, but it looked a bit agricultural from this distance. Referee was much closer than us. Brezovic. Brezovic again with a bit of breathing space at the back. For the first time in a while, they've just dropped off a bit here, Avondale. Maybe they're happy to see things through to half-time as well, knowing they've got the lead. About 3 minutes of normal time to play. Wouldn't expect there'd be a huge amount of stoppage time. Knights have got it in the Avondale half here, though. Brezovic just lost out to his opponent, Agawek, there, and it's out of play. Here's Bryce out towards Wellsmore. He's often been their outlet on this near side. Ethan Wellsmore over towards Bryce. That was a bit cute. He had Shepherd coming in. Couldn't quite get there though, Kane Shepherd. Had he stolen the ball, he would have been pretty much free on goal. That's Valentini just trying to keep it in. Looks like he's switched flanks with Kerr. It's a throw here for Alexander Hurd. He's done plenty of running in this first half. Luckily for him, he's known for his big tank, like his father. He certainly had to use it in this first half, which is slowly coming to a close. And here is the aforementioned Hurd up for a header this time. He couldn't quite win it. Valentini. Kamara out to Edwards. Sheba's been pretty good for the Knights. Some good interventions, including one there, and then he sends it straight out of play. And not such a good intervention at the end from Masatau Chiba. It's a bit sloppy from Bryce. Kind of a lazy pass close to half-time, and then Bramwell is bundled over. And that's a pretty easy decision for referee Gadirian, who gives the free kick, and he gives a yellow card to Trycheski too. Only a matter of seconds before the 45 minutes are up. Free kick taken by Knights, but it's going to be called back. The referee still doing his paperwork. Haven't seen the fourth official raise his board for any stoppage time, so we may not have any. The 45 minutes are up. Knights have the ball. Have they got one last forward foray in them? Probably not. Instead, it's Avondale who come away, and it's Agawek who's in behind. The flag is up, though. There'll be no second goal of the first half for Manny Agawek, at least not in that attacking move. I'm not sure there'll be time for any more. Continuing on for the moment, though. Here's Hurd. Carrigan. Route 1 stuff by Carrigan. Met by Bryce. Towns. There he goes, long ball too. Players conserving a bit of energy in the heat. And that is the end of the first half here at Tomset Stadium. A very hot and steamy first half it was too. Very hot and steamy conditions. And some pretty hot football by Avondale, who after a slow start really put the foot down and put Melbourne Knights through their paces. They really should be further than just a goal up. They had chance after chance as that half wore on, but the only one they made the most of was a simple tap-in from Manny Agawek, who scored from point-blank range after a ball across the 6-yard box by Stefan Valentini. Knights thought they had shocked Avondale in the opening minutes when Stefan Lawless just ran through the middle, couldn't believe his luck with how much room he had, fired a shot, came off the underside of the crossbar, but didn't quite cross the line. And from there, opportunities were very few and far between for Melbourne Knights, who have got a lot of work to do to get back on the winners list here at Tomset Stadium, whilst Avondale look a good bet to make it 3 wins from 3. Join us after the break for the second half. I'm Kate Lucas on YouTube, and at half-time here, it is Melbourne Knights 0, Avondale 1. Welcome back to Tomset Stadium, where at half-time it is the visitors Avondale leading Melbourne Knights by 1-0. The goal scored by Manny Agawek on 26 minutes, and that was the least that Avondale deserved in a first half where they were pretty dominant. They had more corners, more shots on target, and much more possession, and they would probably fancy themselves being further in front than they are. Melbourne Knights probably lucky to be as close as they are as we get underway for the second half here. One change has been made to the starting lineups, and it's Knights who have made it. Fraser Dunlop has come on, the forward, formerly of Port Melbourne Sharks. I'll try and work out who has been removed from the fray for Knights, but they're looking to go forward here early through Lawless. But he himself was a bit lawless there, getting a bit too close and personal with Towns and giving away the free kick. No changes for Avondale, as you would expect. They have plenty of artillery on the bench should they need it. Avondale, of course, in the blue, going towards the left of your screen, or the clubroom's end. Here at Tomset in the second half, Melbourne Knights going towards the scoreboard end or northern end in the red, white and blue. Still very hot conditions here. Melbourne Knights have had to do a lot of chasing, as well as this being their second game in 4 days. They did look to be flagging a bit at times in that first half. How long can they stay in this second half? Can they get back on level terms? They've got defending to do here. It's Kerr for Avondale. Just lost the ball. It's Edwards. Now to Kamara. Bryce. Up to the feet of the goal scorer, Agawek, dropping a bit deeper and losing the ball. And now some space in midfield for Knights through Giselle. It's got Bramwell on the grandstand side. Can't do much with it, Kieran Bramwell. A frustrating night for him. Had a golden chance late in the first half. One-on-one with the keeper, which he shot straight at the keeper, Thomas Manos. Other than that, it's been pretty slim pickings. Here's Dunlop, his first touch of the ball since coming on. Chiba, who's been one of Knight's best. Carrigan. This one of 2 games tonight. The other game, it's 1-1 between Hume City and Green Gully. Amir Abdullah scoring against his old side, cancelling out Harry Ashcroft's effort. So good game there, and could be a good game here in the second half as Knights come forward. It's Kane Shepherd getting involved. Kamara in the way, though, for Avondale. It was early in the half when Knights looked most dangerous at the start of the first half. Maybe that could be the case here again before Avondale really get into their rhythm. Valentini just outreaches Chiba. Now Cunha puts it straight up and down the chimney. And here's Lawless. Finds a bit of pocket of space, the Irishman. Went looking for Bramwell with the run. Didn't quite reach him. And here's Valentini on the turn. Drifting in field. Over towards Trycheski as a space. He's still going. Trycheski will shoot. Oldfield parries. And Knights will come away. Hurd to White. Now to Duzel in midfield. And again, Knights just finding a bit of space in midfield now. Here's Lawless. He can't find a teammate with that pass. A few groans from the grandstand as people make their way back to their seats after half-time. Beautiful sunset behind the grandstand. Not sure if you can see it on the vision, but it is quite the night here in Melbourne. The contrast with last Friday night could hardly be starker. I was at Pascoe Vale getting absolutely drenched at about this time. The players out there at the moment would probably quite enjoy a quick shower. It was a very hot evening after a hot day. Chris Oldfield take the goal kick. Not much to report in the first 4 minutes or so of the second half. Kate Lucas with you on YouTube. And it's still Avondale leading by a goal to nil. Looking to stay atop the NPL ladder, make it 3 from 3. Melbourne Knights haven't won since their game here 2 weeks ago to start the season against Heidelberg. And here's Bryce putting them right on the back foot, the big defender going right through the middle. Valentini couldn't quite keep it in, or could he? It's going to be an Avondale throw. Bryce galloping through the middle of Tomset Stadium from defence well into attack. His pass was just a bit overhit. Now here's Dunlop with the fresh legs for Knights to Lawless. But he's just given it away to Trycheski. It's not someone you want to give the ball to, and he goes out wide. Here's Valentini again. Shot blocked. It's Wellsmore out there, not Valentini. Getting my former Oakley Chargers, who are now playing for Avondale, mixed up. Here's Cunha. He's recovered from that earlier knock. And now he just hoofs it straight down the middle. Bryce underneath it, doesn't get his header away. And now Manos has to come out and clean up. Looking at the lineups out there, I think it might have been the big defender Brezovic who's been removed for Fraser Dunlop. So a defender off for an attacker for Ivan Frandic. But here's an attack going forward for the Avengers, and it's Towns who's brought down just outside the D. Ite Towns gets up after a good run. And he's given his team a very promising spot from which to take a free kick. Pretty much directly in front. And well within goal scoring range for whoever wants to take it. And they've got a wealth of options here, the visitors. Tavia looks like he's maybe pulled rank and said, I'm going to take it. But Kerr's there, also Agawek, the goal scorer. Christian Trycheski sniffing around too. 5-man wall. And Chris Oldfield behind them directing traffic. And now he awaits. Looks like it will be Tavia. It is, and it's a good save by Oldfield. He saw it all the way and used all his experience to parry that one clear and to keep it just a goal the difference. It's not a scoreline that reflects general play, but it's one that Knights will be happy with, and they might be even happier here as Dunlop goes down in the area, and the referee Gadirian was very quick to wave away any thoughts of a penalty there. And the Knights players are not remonstrating too much. So it looks like the right call was made, but they have on occasions broken through and just caught the Avondale defence napping. They're not without hope here, Melbourne Knights. They've just got to stay in the game for long enough and then take that chance when it comes, if it comes. They've had a couple of opportunities. Normal services resuming here as Avondale look to come forward. Kerr just misplaced that pass though. Here's Shepherd. As Tamara right with him. He infringed the big defender. It's a free kick for Shepherd. Goes straight down the middle. Dunlop is there again. Doesn't get there in time. Edwards to Tavir on the move. Luca Tavir. Oh, he had the run of Agawek through the middle. Timely intervention, though, by the Knights' defence. There's a Avondale player down behind play. Referee allowing play to go on. And now he will call it to a stop. Looks like it might be Kerr who's feeling a bit worse for wear. Avondale have not made any changes. Knights have only made the one. Kerr still sitting down, so a couple of players have gone over to have a drink, which isn't a bad idea in this weather. The Knights players are warming up behind the goals at the northern end and Avondale players at the southern end. Whether Kerr will need to be substituted for any of them is yet to be clear. He is walking off a little gingerly, but maybe after a bit of work with the physio, he'll be able to resume. And players about to resume, so they're down to 10 men momentarily here at the Avengers. The Melbourne Knights can make the most of that one-man advantage for however long they have it. In fact, they don't have it anymore. Kerr's back on the field and he's trying to get involved here. So too Zagelwek. And he was manhandled. He's looking for a free kick. And instead, it's going the opposite direction. A bit of simulation there from Agawek, according to the referee, Gadirian. Lawless bounced off Agawek, and then he gets a yellow card for his trouble, the Irishman Stephen Lawless. In fact, it was Kerr. He gave him a little bit of a hip and shoulder. Now he's trying to demonstrate it to the referees if that's going to make him change his mind. He goes in the book. Irish midfielder. Last season he was with the Altona Magic, and before that he was with Werribee City. So he's working his way from the outer west to the inner city slowly. He might be looking to stay at Melbourne Knights for some time. Could have made himself a hero in the opening minutes when he had that opportunity. Just didn't bounce on the right side of the line, and now he's chasing tail as Trudetsky comes forward to Valentini. Oh, he had a shot there, Valentini. He would have been better going for the cross, as that was always going into the path of Oldfield. Kamara. Belated whistle there. Kamara brought down behind play. Yet to really get going in this second half, Avondale. Some credit for that will have to go to Knights as well, but just lacking anything like the fluency they had for much of that first half, when they really should have put on a few more goals. They might have an opportunity here as Kerr's going down the flank. He's stretched out to reach that ball and he's gone down again. He had an injury, quite a bit of physio treatment moments ago, and he's looking a bit sore again. Meanwhile, Knights are at the other end through Dunlop, who's given them a little since coming on. Runs into a cul-de-sac here. It goes all the way back to Manos. And now Towns. Tavia ends up on his backside and gets a free kick for his team. He's probably been the best player on the pitch through an hour. Almost an hour gone, the last few seconds ticking up. And as is often the case at this point in a match, substitutions are going to be made by both teams. For the moment, though, Avondale have got it. So the substitutions will have to wait as they work it out to the near side, and Edwards as Valentini ahead. He backtracks. Krzyzewski over towards Towns. Plenty of room here for Avondale. They mightn't need the substitutions. It's Kerr into the area. Just loses the ball at a crucial moment. And it's knocked away only as far as Bryce, who looks to keep the move going, the big defender. He doesn't mind getting forward. Tavia. Like a dog with a bone there. He just kept going. Ultimately lost the football. Now Knights have it, and now they don't. It's been the story of the evening. They've been unable to really keep possession much at all. In stark contrast to Avondale, who've had it on a string at times. Krzyzewski. Oh, that's a pass through the middle to Agawek. Couldn't quite control it. Oh, flying shot. In fact, that was Agawek from downtown, and that didn't miss by a lot. It was Kerr with the original run, and then came back to Agawek, who put his laces through it. But he couldn't add to his goal. His goal, which still separates the two teams, as substitutions are made from both sides. Dozell is off for Knights. Wait and see who the replacement is for him. But Valentini and Kerr are coming off for the Avengers, who have an embarrassment of riches on the bench to call on. It's Jack Morton who's come on for Melbourne Knights, while Stefan Zinni is on for Avondale, and it looks like George Ott as well. They're two guys who would be nailed on starters for just about every other side of the competition. And they have come off the bench tonight. Here's White. Back towards White in midfield. Shepherd, who's had a frustrating evening. Hurd. Chips it forward to Dunlop. Finds a bit of room. He might pull the trigger. But that was always going well wide from Fraser Dunlop. Certainly given them a bit of energy since coming on, but not much in the way of end product. Certainly not there. And Fraser Dunlop, originally from WA, crossing from Port Melbourne in the off-season. Carrigan. Over to Cunha. 3 games in the NPL tomorrow. Port Melbourne play Oakley tomorrow night. Preston and Altona, the Macedonian derby, the big one at BT Connor tomorrow night. Dandenong Thunder and Dandy City, and St Albans and Heidelberg here at Tomset. Churchill Reserve out of action at the moment, so they're coming down the road to play here against Heidelberg, who They've come here for the second time in 3 weeks. They were here on opening night where they lost to Melbourne Knights. Last time Melbourne Knights won. Here's Ott, who's just come on the field for Avondale. Over to Tavia. Bryce. Over towards Zinni. Down this near side. Danger here for the Knights. Zinni knows where the goals are. He knows how to create them too. And he's created one here for Trojewski. And it's 2-0 to the league leaders. And that's about game, set and match 2, you'd think. 65 minutes played. And Avondale have been playing with their food a bit in this game. But inspired by Stefan Zinni, the substitute, they scythe through Melbourne Knights to score a second goal through Christian Trojewski. And they look set to stay at the top of the table. And you wonder when they'll be removed from there. They may not be. It's Melbourne Knights 0, Avondale 2. Christian Trojewski was on the bench last week, but he got the start tonight. He's done his chances of staying in the starting lineup, no harm at all. So it's 2-0 to Avondale here. Still 1-1 at Green Gully and Hume City. And then actually there's 2 other games tonight. My apologies, I thought they were tomorrow, but Oakley 2-0 to the good over Port Melbourne, and the Macedonian derby's on now, and it's in the first 20 minutes at BT Connor, and it's 0-0 between Preston and Altona Magic. Which means there's only the one game tomorrow. That's the Dandenong derby between Thunder and City. And then it's Heidelberg and St Albans here to round out the weekend on Sunday. Manos. Towards Ott. Nicolaides contesting there. He's come on. The other substitute for Melbourne Knights. They've got more defending to do. Tavia forces a save out of Oldfield. Tavia's eyes lit up there. He might have another opportunity, Tavia, from outside the area. That was always going over the top. But this is target practice a bit now for Avondale. They're going through the gears. And this scoreline could yet blow out a bit. Agawek, Towns, Wellsmore. Petheriotis is out there too, so there's been another change for Knights. The first change, when actually one of the changes they made, I wasn't quite sure he came on, so it must have been Petheriotis. Either way, they've got more defending to do here as it's Ott, but he can't add to the score. They're queuing up at the moment though, the visitors. A few players there who would be licking their chops at the thought of scoring. Just over 20 minutes to play against a team who are a bit tired and bedraggled after a very tough week. Just a 4-day turnaround for a big derby at South, and now a game against top opponents in tough conditions. And here's Ott. And it's another opportunity he's made a meal of in a matter of seconds, George Ott. He hasn't been on long, but he could easily have a brace. Yes, the toils of this week seem to be pretty visible on Melbourne Knights out there. Hot weather here hasn't helped them either, especially against a team who keep the ball as well as Avondale. And they're doing more defending here. Knights getting back in numbers as Agawek comes in from the grandstand side. Cunha there in front of him though. More changes now. Looks like it'll be another double substitution for the Avengers. And the goal scorer, Trycheski, makes way. Scoring the second goal on 65 minutes. After a typically industrious and at times spectacular performance. And the other goal scorer, Manny Agawek, is also coming off. It was his goal back in the 26th minute, which set Avondale on their way. He won't score too many easier ones. It was a tap into an open net. But it gave Avondale the lead that they richly deserved at the time, in which they've never really looked like giving up. They have looked at times like spurning a few chances to make it a bigger lead, but never looked truly threatened. Knights have had a couple of half chances, had a couple of good chances in the first half, but become fewer and harder to come by as the game has gone on. There's Joey Katabian, another one of the players who's been brought off the bench for Avondale, who'd be starting just about everywhere else. Here's Dunlop though for Knights. It goes all the way through. Another one of those half chances Melbourne Knights have had. Fraser Dunlop couldn't quite find a teammate to knock that one in. So it's Joey Katabian and Jackson Courtney Perkins, who were the latest substitutes to come on. I bet both of them would be eyeing up the goals as well. As will Stefan Zinni, who's in behind here, and he tries to tickle it past Oldfield, who is well off his line. But Zinni always had the radar just a bit awry there. He scored last week, Stefan Zinni, against Port Melbourne. Not often you score and then end up on the pine the week after. Obviously a bit of squad rotation from Zoran Markovski, but since Zinni has come on, he's created one goal for Trycheski, and if he had that opportunity again, he might have scored one himself. Still time for him and a few of his teammates though. About 17 minutes to play of normal time. Plus stoppage time beyond that. Is there an opportunity for Melbourne Knights to jag one back? Not if Bryce has anything to do with it. He's happy to see that out over the byline. There'll be a goal kick at the northern end, where there's a few kids playing on the dirt behind the goal, where they're doing some redevelopment here at Topset Stadium. Already finished some of the redevelopments around the club rooms that look very smart. Once the whole thing's finished, it'll be quite the facility. Not that it was a bad one to start with. Here's Dunlop. Good challenge there by Bryce. He's not given his former team a sniff tonight, Aidan Bryce. Now they're on the front foot again through Courtney Perkins, drifting in from the far side. And now he picks up the ball again and goes to Katabian, now to Tavia. Zinni on the near side. Taking it to the byline, skipping past Hurd. And a desperate block there by Carrigan, sees it out for a corner. I think this might be the first corner of the second half for Avondale. They had a welter of them in the first half. This will be the first since the break. And despite having a 2-goal cushion, which should be more than enough to get the win, they'll be looking to add to their goal difference here with a third. It's Tavir with another deep cross. Kamara up with the header. Lawless will knock it away. And Joey Katabian's happy to see it out of play right below us. Edwards with the throw. Ott, his fellow Kiwi, flicks it on. And it's Zinni who, well, tried to keep it in and then ended up getting in a tangle and sending it out of play. Stefan Zinni. And it's Hurd with the throw. Bramwell. Dunlop. He's complaining to the referee, thought he was held. Referee Gadirian says play on, and Avondale do just that. Wellsmore just knocks it off the shin of his opponent and gets a throw. Inside the last 15 here at Tomset. Knights would love a goal just to give them something to go on with into next week, where it doesn't get much easier at all. They've played South Melbourne, Avondale, and now next week it's Oakley Cannons. So probably by general consensus, the three best teams in the comp, and Melbourne Knights have got them all in a row. And it's Avondale who are coming forward again here. Zinni couldn't quite get over the top of that cross. It's out for a throw on the near side. This Knights travelling down to Oakley next Friday night, whilst Avondale, they're at home next Saturday afternoon at Avenger Park, playing Melbourne Victory. Presumably we're looking to make it 4 in a row, assuming they go on and win this and make it 3 in a row, which does seem very likely. Still 12 minutes to go though. Stay with us on YouTube. Cade Lucas is my name. It's been a pleasure to bring the game to you so far. And let's wait and see if we've got a few more twists and turns in the time remaining. Certainly wouldn't bet against another Avondale goal. They don't look like they've shut up shop at all, the visitors. Cunha. He'll just go straight down the middle and hope that Bramwell can get on the end of it, but Bryce was there. Hurd to mop up though for the home side. We're still fighting hard, credit to them. Lawless, he shifts it out wide, and Nicolaides, who's got, actually it's Petheriotis rather. He's a substitute, he has got the fresh legs. He scored last week in there, or earlier this week rather, not last week. He scored against South in the OG derby on Monday night, so he knows where the goals are. They've had to retreat back to their own half here. It's Nicolaides, another substitute who's come on, the ex-Heidelberg player, one of a number of ex-Burgers here at Knights. No doubt the Franich brothers, who themselves were at Heidelberg a few years ago, convinced many of them to come over. There's Morton. Cunha. White. Ten minutes of normal time to go. Game just petering out a little at the moment. Both sides would be feeling it, the Knights especially, but these hot conditions are not easy for any team, regardless of how much football they've played. Oh, that's a nice touch by Dunlop. Now he's in the area. Danger here for Avondale. Dunlop goes himself, and Manos saw it all the way. Hasn't had a lot to do tonight, Thomas Manos, but he has had a couple of key saves to make, and he's made them when he's been called upon, which hasn't been that often, as is often the case when you're playing for a top team between the sticks. Don't often have many saves to make, but the saves you do make are especially important. It's Chris Oldfield who might have some saving to do here as the ball comes in. It's Zinni. Ball was pinballing around. It's still in play. Nicolaides got his head to it, and Knights will escape again, but maybe only momentarily. Avondale looking to reload here. One last flurry maybe. We're inside the final 10 minutes. Here's Tavia. If anyone deserves a goal, it's him. He lays it off to Zinni, and that wraps it up. Cool, calm and clinical from Stefan Zinni and from Avondale tonight here at Tomset Stadium. They make it 3 wins from 3 matches, and they do it by 3 goals to 0 as well to pick up the 3 points. Stefan Zinni gets his 2nd goal of the season. And since coming on as a substitute, he's created 1 goal for Christian Trajewski and then scored another one himself. Can't ask for much more than that from a substitute. Now, as I mentioned before, he would not be a substitute for pretty much any other side in NPL Victoria. It's another example of their quality and their depth. Avondale, it's above and beyond what pretty much any other side can match, and that's why they are top of the table, and even after just 3 weeks, the clear favourites for the title to do what they did the season before last. Bit of a down year for them last time, down year by their lofty standards. But they will be there when the whips are cracking at the very least this season. Here come Knights, looking to try and get something out of this game in the dying moments. Nothing happening there for Bramwell though. Lawless. The ladies might have snuck in behind. They work it into the area now. Lawless. Dunlop, they've got a goal back. And there's no one more deserving than Fraser Dunlop, the second half substitute. Came on at half time. He's worked his socks off up top, and he now has a goal to his name. And Melbourne Knights have a bit more pride on the scoreboard, and maybe just a glimmer of hope. Just over 5 minutes of normal time remaining. It's probably too steep a mountain to climb, but they've given themselves something to cheer about at the very least. Fraser Dunlop with the goal on 84 minutes. It's Melbourne Knights 1, Avondale 3. And here they come again, Dunlop. Looking for a second goal within 20 seconds or so, and he wasn't too far away. He's won a corner. They have got a second win now, Knights. Don't put down that laptop or turn off the TV. We could yet be in for an interesting end to this game. Corner here for Knights. It's flicked right across the face of goal. All the oohs and ahs from the crowd in the Mark Viduka stand. They're suddenly very interested over there. For that Dunlop goal, many of them are probably thinking about how they make their way home or if they grab a bit of a bite to eat on the way back, but now they're very much invested in the end of this game as Knights win another corner from the far side this time. You cannot question their effort, Melbourne Knights. Here's the corner. Nobody home. As we said right off the top, it's been a tough week for them. But they have fought hard. They'll certainly sleep well tonight. And then they've got, at least now ahead of Oakley, they've got a week's rest rather than just 4 days before they make the trip down to Jack Edwards Reserve. Edwards, Zinni, Bryce, over towards Courtney Perkins. That's a lovely touch. Drifting in field. Oh, and that's a ball through towards Ott. Ott gets it out from underneath himself to Courtney Perkins, who was always putting that over the top, and he puts his hands on his head. It was almost a lovely end-to-end move there from Avondale. And now they might have an opportunity from another corner. On the far side, Tavir to take it. Again, it's right into the hands of Oldfield, who held off Courtney Perkins well and now sends it straight up the middle, but only as far as Joey Katabian, who sends it back with interest. Hurdle mop up though for Knights. 2 minutes to go. Stoppage time beyond that. Dunlop, the goal scorer for Knights, loses the ball. But Avondale uncharacteristically give it straight back. Now Oldfield. They haven't managed the end of this game too well, Avondale. They've got the buffer, but it is a bit stretched and a bit frantic. Would have been hoping to ease to the finishing line a bit more comfortably than they are, Avondale. Knights have certainly making them work for it. Courtney Perkins and Nicolaides getting a tangle. And Courtney Perkins got in his back. Joseph Frangic has come on, the brother of the coach. Not sure when that substitution was made, but he's out there, and so too is Lawless. And Bramwell. Bryce just bangs it away. He's been a colossus back there tonight, Aiden Bryce. How Melbourne Knights would love to have him back in their colours, as that's a pretty blatant foul right in front of the Melbourne Knights faithful. Courtney Perkins, a body check on his opponent, I think it was Nicolaides, and he goes in the book. About 20 seconds of the 90 to go. You know, I haven't seen the fourth official put up the board for stoppage time. Assuming there'll be some. There is a free kick here for Knights. In it comes. Who else but Bryce is there to head it away. And now Courtney Perkins, the man who gave away the free kick, but his header doesn't clear the danger. He's Cunha. And it's out to Dunlop. Can't quite connect with this one, the goal scorer. And now it's Knights who'll come away. We mightn't be done with the scoring. Avondale still look keen for another one. Here's Zinni. Could he get a second? He goes down. The referee has a very good look. In fact, it hasn't gone out of play. And Melbourne Knights will come away. Stefan Zinni might have been playing a bit of ducks and drakes there. He seemed to go down under his own steam. That, though, on Towns is very much a foul. Here comes Wellsmore, driving at the defence. Carrigan intercepts for Knights. Now Nicolaides, Lawless. Lawless again, it's a tired pass. Straight to the indomitable Bryce. Try a bit of keepings off now, just to see through this stoppage time, Avondale. Kamara. Just closed down there by Petheriotis. Petheriotis making himself a real pest to Kamara, who does well, though, to get it away to Courtney Perkins, and suddenly it's opening up for Avondale again. Here's Tavir. Tavir driving at the defence. He wants a goal himself. He might go himself. He deflects out towards Ott. He's had opportunities, and he can't make the most of this one either. There's a good block, and the ball spills into the hands of Chris Oldfield. Can't be long to go now. Been an entertaining night's football, but as predicted, it's going to end with yet another win for Avondale. Only 3 weeks into the season, but it does seem like a bit of a procession for them. You wonder how many wins they might string together. They will be warm favourites next week against Melbourne Victory, as there's going to be another card here. This time it's Cunha who goes into the book for a pretty rugged challenge. Wellsmore, I think it is. No, it's Ott, sorry. It was a bit slow to get up. Poyo Gadirian says, no, go back and do that again. Can't be long to go now. Bryce strokes it out to the grandstand side. Towns. Kamara. And that is that. Avondale just continue on. They reign supreme in the early stages of this 2025 NPL season. Played 3 and won 3, and it's the Melbourne Knights who are their latest victim. The Knights who have played twice in 4 days against South Melbourne away, and then at home tonight against Avondale. They were always up against it, and in very hot conditions it proved to be a bit too much for them. They had a good chance early on through Stephen Lawless, but from then on the first half was very much one-way traffic, and Manny Agawek deservedly put Avondale in front on 26 minutes. They really should have added a second or a third before half-time, but Melbourne Knights hung in there, got to the break, only a goal down, and it was that scoreline for much of the first bit of the second half as well, before Christian Krzyzewski was teed up by the substitute Stefan Zinni, and he put away the second. And from there, they were just going through the motions. A third was added by Stefan Zinni himself on 82 minutes before the second half substitute Fraser Dunlop, who had worked very hard since coming on, got a goal from Melbourne Knights to give them something to go on with into next week. So the final score here at a very hot and sweaty Tomset Stadium, and Melbourne Knights in particular will sleep well tonight. They've had a very tough week, and it ends with a tough result against a team who are going to hand out some tough results to a lot of opponents this season, the way they're looking. The final score here on YouTube. I'm Cade Lucas. I've brought it to you. It's been a great pleasure. And I've seen Avondale win over Melbourne Knights by 3 goals to 1.